If you're one of those businesses in the hospitality and the tourism sector that has been allowed to change or reduce your VAT from 20% to 5% for certain supplies, then you're in the right place. I'm going to quickly show you how to change the tax rate if it isn't already in your software. Now I'm going to use Xero, which usually is in there by default, but I know some businesses change their chart of accounts and have their own way of doing things. So if that's the case, I'm going to show you how you can add that tax rate back in. So just to clarify, the 5% VAT reduced rate applies to sales of food and non-alcoholic drinks from restaurants, pubs, bars, cafes, and similar premises across the UK. It also applies to accommodation and admission to attractions across the UK. If you want more specific and more detailed information about that, then visit the gov.uk website for more details regarding these changes. So how do you apply the VAT cut in Xero? Well, it's the same as any other VAT rate if you're registered. So if we go to Invoice and then just choose a customer. Got one begin with? Yes, we do. Put parking. Just say there. Invoice number, and then we're just gonna put lunch. One price £25, and here it defaults to the 20% VAT on income. All we need to do is change that. So highlight it, and here we have 5% VAT on income. Same if you are sold food and the expense is 5%, then in the bill you add the 5%. As I said, if you don't already have this in there, it's very simple to put it in. All you need to do is go across to accounting, then come down to advanced, and then you come to tax rates. And in here you can add a new tax rate. You can edit a tax rate just by clicking on it, and you can delete a tax rate just by highlighting it. Here we go. And deleting. Note these ones have padlocks. The padlocks are because they've been used. So you can't delete a tax rate that's been used because it's already against transactions, and you will then disrupt your history of transactions. So all you need to do is new tax rate. Let's just say we were going to do 5%. And then VAT on income. You all know I can't type. Well, I can, but I can't. Tax component's already VAT. It's a sales tax type. Here are the different tax types, because you want to make sure it goes on the right line on your VAT return. And the percentage you would put here, 5%, and you would save that, and that's all you need to do. Don't worry about the components, just complicating things. And that's it. Now, there are a few things or a few areas that you need to make sure that you also update as well as the tax rate, because it could affect your transactions without you realizing. There are 5 areas in particular which can trip you up. So I'm going to briefly go into them, and just to remind you to check on them before you start to use the VAT rates. So the first one is your actual chart of accounts. So yes, it's great that you've come in here and you've set up your tax rates, but you might have default tax rates on your chart of accounts or nominal accounts. So if you go back to accounting, go to chart of accounts, and then in here you'll see some of them have default tax rates. So in here for sales, your tax rate here defaults to 20%. So you will want to change that to 5% if it applies right across all your sales. If you have different ones, then of course do them individually within an invoice. But if you have certain things that only ever apply to one type, so if you have one type of income, so you might just have food income, hot food, for example, or soft drinks, then you can change it. The other place is in your customers and your supplier contact records. So if we go to contacts, I'm going to pick a customer, and if we just go into Bayside Club, And if we go into edit, you may already have default tax codes. And down here you have a default tax code. And here again it says 20% if you buy from them and 20% if they buy from you. So you may want to change that so that when the invoice populates, it populates with the correct VAT, save you checking it. So that's in your customer or your supplier contacts. The other one is products and services. So to get to that one, you go into your products and services down here, and here you have, oh, this is a golf place. Let's pretend it's food, shall we? So, half day training. So let's say that's accommodation. So we click on that one, and then we want to edit the item. And here again, we come in and we change the tax rate. So when you sell it, you are going to sell it for 5% when they come and stay with you, rather than 20%. Save that and come out of it. The other place, which is connected, are repeating invoices. So if we go to the business and we go to sales overview and we have repeating, this company doesn't have any set up, but what they do have are a couple of draft repeating invoices. So we'll just use one of those. So here are ones. Draft just means that it won't populate because you haven't approved it yet. Once it's approved, it will sit in awaiting payment, just like any standard invoice. But I'll leave that for another video. So this particular repeating invoice is set to go out it's each month, and each time it goes out, the VAT here is 20%. So we just change that to 5%, and in fact, we can approve it, and it will create a real repeating invoice. And if I go back then to sales overview and repeating, there's one left in draft, and there's in awaiting payment, and there it is. But it will show the 5% now. And last but not least, the place where I know most people are probably going to forget are your bank rules. So sometimes you can come back to the dashboard, go to an account, pick up your bank rules from here. You can actually go into a bank account. You could do it from there. The other way to do it is you can actually open your business bank account, and you can come up here, bank rules, or you can do it from this screen, the reconciliation screen, and again, you just go into your bank rules. Yep. So what you need to do, there's only one. So receive money. There may be income that comes in here all the time, and the rule, we use the spend money rule. I'm not going to create one. So in 7-Eleven, because we're not going to get to change this as it's a rule necessarily. So you want it to be right up front. So in here, you will change the VAT and you'll save it. So in future, when that rule comes up in your bank, it will do it at the right percentage. So to quickly recap, first, if they're not already in your tax codes, set up new tax codes. Check your chart of accounts to see if there are any default tax codes within any chart of account codes. Check your customer and supplier contacts for any default tax codes. Check your products and services for any default tax codes. Check your bank rules and check your repeating invoices. And that's pretty much it for you to remember. This is in Xero. If you're using other accounting software, they will have similar areas which you need to check on. So just be aware.